Hey students, welcome back. This is 5.1. This is our review. Well, it's actually 5.2, but it's our review of 5.1. So the first thing I want you to do is take a screenshot of this or hit pause, and we're going to classify each of the following as chemical or physical changes. So we've got four things, and also provide evidence, just like we did in practice. Okay. Hit pause. See you down below. All right, so today's topic, 5.2, parts of a chemical reaction. This is page 30. We've got a lot of vocab, and then we have just a little bit of information, kind of some helpers, and this stuff is going to help us through balancing chemical equations, which is our next video. All right, so let's kind of jump right in. All right, we talked about chemical change in our last video. What we're going to talk about here is our chemical reaction, and so this... Ooh, let's blow that up just a little bit so Miss Griffith can see what she's writing. All right, this represents a chemical change. All right, so we're going to talk about how to represent them, and then we have our chemical equation, and so this is going to be a shorthand version of a chemical change, of a chemical reaction. All right, so this is what we're going to use to kind of represent our chemical reactions, and we'll have them balanced, and we'll actually add some calculations with this in our next portion. All right, so now a couple of parts of the chemical reaction. We have our reactants, and this is our starting material. This is what you start with. It's also found on the left side of the arrow. All right, this is found on the left side of our arrow. We have our products, which is our ending material or our new stuff that we made. All right, and so this is found on the right side of the arrow. If you don't know what the arrow is right now, that's totally fine. We will actually talk about that in just a few minutes. All right, coefficients. This will be a word that we heard. These represent, this represents moles. This represents our moles, all right? And so this is how we balance a chemical equation. And again, that's what our next video is going to be about. This is how we balance. We use coefficients to balance our chemical equations. All right, and then we have one last one, and this is just kind of going with the chemical reactions as we write them out. We have catalysts, things that are catalysts, and these speed up the reaction without being changed. Oh, not with, without. Sorry, fix that. Without being changed. So, catalytic converter on your car is something that is a catalyst. It speeds up the reaction. They're actually trying to take the bad stuff out of the car. All right. So what we have next here is just a whole bunch of symbols that we use when we're writing balanced equations, and so we're going to write down what they mean to us. So the first one is a plus symbol, and so this is like added or combined. All right, so this means added or combined, just like it does in our math classes. We mean we're adding them together or combined. The next one is looking like a little arrow. Hopefully you see that. This is an arrow, and this shows the reaction taking place, all right? But it also divides the reactants. Remember, that's our starting material from our products, all right? So we're able to tell on the left side is our reactants, and on the right side is our products. The next four are going to be state symbols, or how we represent states. So S in parentheses means that we have a solid. All right, we have something that's in the solid form. The next one is L. I'm sure you can guess that. That means we have the liquid form, and there are only two liquids. Only ever two liquids. All right, those two liquids we have are H2O. Obviously, and mercury. Those are the only two liquids you will ever see represented as liquids. If something else is dissolved in water, that comes in the aqueous point in just a little bit. All right, let's look down here. G, we have a gas. This is our gas. This can also be represented by the word vapor. A lot of times vapor is used, so make sure that you also represent that with a G. The last one there is AQ. Well, as far as the states, AQ stands for aqueous. All right, and that means it's been dissolved in water. So this is where all our other liquids come into play. All right, if something is dissolved in water, we use AQ for it. This last one here, we have the MnO2 above the arrow, and that's going to represent a catalyst. All right, so if we have something written above the arrow, it doesn't participate in the reaction, it just speeds it up. That's why it's written above the arrow. So it represents a catalyst. Okay, so let's look at a chemical equation, an example of a balanced chemical equation here. It's a pretty big one here. All right, so let's see what we've got. So let's start off by highlighting, boop, boop. These are our state symbols, right? So these guys are our state symbols. All right, they tell us what state we have. All right, let's pick another color here. We'll go to red, and we'll highlight in it red. All right, these here are our chemicals involved. All right. All right, then we have those numbers out front. Let's do those in purple. All right, these numbers out front are our coefficients, aka moles. All right, and last but not least, we have like our plus signs. All right, our plus signs, that is not a highlighter. All right, we've got our plus sign, our arrow. All right, these are kind of telling us how our reaction is going. All right. Kind of our setup of it all. Okay. All right, see you on the next one.